Let me ask you a question. By show of hands, who thought Prismatic Evolutions would be their favorite set to open in the Scarlet and Violet block? Just put a hand up. My hand's up because I thought it would be. I thought this video would make much more sense, but it really doesn't make sense because we're talking about Crown Zenith, and Crown Zenith wasn't even in. Let's change it. By show of hands, who thought Prismatic Evolutions would be the best specialty set to open of all time? I still did. I really thought it would be. I was really excited about Prismatic Evolutions, and I still am. I think the artwork is absolutely slapping. The special illustration rares go really hard. You just can't pull them. You just can't pull them ever, and it's really frustrating. I think a lot of people were hoping that Pokemon would print Prismatic Evolution similar, as far as pull rates go, to what we saw in Crown Zenith. And Crown Zenith is probably like the ideal set when it comes to pull rates, collectability. Like, it's got everything. The only thing it really doesn't have a lot of is competitive playability. There's not a whole lot in Crown Zenith that's super playable. There was a couple things that made a little bit of an impact, but I don't expect a lot of stuff in Prismatic Evolutions to make a big impact. Maybe Budew has, or Budew has a little bit of potential, obviously, with its item lock. Like, that could be a big thing. Regigigas, Flareon, those. Jury's still out on a lot of that stuff, but Crown Zenith, not a whole lot. However, the idea of opening up an Elite Trainer box and pulling, like, 7 hits, that was top shelf. That was great. Like, Crown Zenith, a lot of people were super excited. And yeah, you were pulling Radiant cards and you were pulling lower level V cards and things like that. And you still kind of get that in Prismatic Evolutions. If you include those Pokeball reverses as hits, like, that definitely helps, because 1 out of every 3 packs obviously will give you a Pokeball reverse. But you can open up an Elite Trainer box. You could get like an EX and maybe 2 Pokeball reverses, and that's it. So that's like 3 hits, I guess, if you want to call it that. But the higher rarity, that upper echelon of special illustration rares, much like I think we would consider the back half of the Galarian Gallery to be, even though there's 70 cards in the Galarian Gallery, the back half is really where a lot of people get super excited because it's got the texture, and you've got cards like the Mewtwo V-Star, and the Leafeon, and the Glaceon, and the Suicune, lots of really cool cards. And the thing about Crown Zenith is, even though they printed an absolute ton of it, because they did, they printed a lot of it, it is still huge in demand. And as the hype continues to return, Crown Zenith is really starting to continue to climb. We've talked about Crown Zenith a lot. I don't have a whole lot of Crown Zenith left. Like, we've got booster packs that we use for breaks, and that's pretty much it. But every time we get Crown Zenith singles in, they fly out right away. It doesn't matter if it's the front half of the Galarian Gallery, the back half of the Galarian Gallery. As more and more people get involved in collecting Pokemon cards, they want Crown Zenith because they love the artwork. They love how Crown Zenith is all laid out. And as sealed product continues to get more expensive, Crown Zenith just continues to climb. So I think a lot of us were hoping it would at least be somewhat similar as far as pull rates go. And Prismatic Evolutions didn't have that. We're going to talk more about Prismatic Evolutions tomorrow, but we're going to take a step back from Prismatic Evolutions because I need a break. I need a Priz break. That doesn't make any sense. I just need a break from Prismatic Evolutions because it has been so frustrating. Obviously, we're working on putting together the master set so that way we can give it to 1 lucky YouTube subscriber. So make sure you're subscribed. But it has been rough. I told myself I'm not opening up anymore for myself. We're going to try and get as much as we possibly can out there in the hands of collectors at MSRP, but personal opening, not happening. It is far too frustrating. First, I want to start just by looking at this Crown Zenith Sea and Sky Premium Collection, or Crown Zenith. If you're newer to the hobby, you might not even know about this. Go to samsclub.com. You can type in your zip code, and you can see if you can still get it. So I typed in my zip code. It is still available to order for shipment. Now, I'm not going to order any of these because I believe this is, if it's not carried by a distributor that services LGSs, then I just don't order it because I don't think it's made for me. I think it's made for you guys. I think it's made for collectors, and this is your best bet at getting Crown Zenith at a cheaper rate. So you can go to samsclub.com. Even if you're not a member, you can still buy 2 of them, which will give you a decent amount of packs. I forget exactly how, it might be 12 packs. It's a fair amount of packs, maybe 15, 16, but there's a lot of packs in there. So you can get a fair amount of Crown Zenith if you haven't opened that much. Crown Zenith is still a set where you can actually enjoy ripping because it still is relatively cheap to get booster packs. Now, if you don't have any in your area, obviously it's going to be a little bit more difficult. You might have to resort to singles, but even singles are really starting to climb. This is going to be your best bet, and this is going to be gone very soon, especially with the demand that Pokemon has right now. I'm not trying to increase FOMO or anything like that. I think 2 is a great amount to get. It gives you a little chance to open up some Crown Zenith, especially if you haven't opened up that much of it. But it's going to be gone soon. Like, Crown Zenith has been out for, 2 years now? now, it's been out for a while. So 2 years, it's not going to get printed a whole lot more. I don't think it's going to get printed at all, especially with the printing problems that Pokemon has right now. They're going to focus a lot, I think, on reprints when it comes to Prismatic Evolutions, Surging Sparks, Twilight Masquerade, even sets like Stellar Crown, maybe Paldean Fates, but they're going to really focus on the back half of the sets that just kind of got released. They're not really going to focus on sets like Paradox Rift or older, because those have been around for about a year and a half. They did reprint those already to some extent. Temporal Forces probably closing in on beyond that date. They already did reprint Temporal Forces to an extent, so I don't know if we're going to get a whole lot more than that. But remember, at the end of 2021, we got a lot of product. We got a lot of reprints, and they did go back and reprint small amounts of Vivid Voltage and Darkness Ablaze. So you never know. You never know. They did address it. They're going to have a massive reprint of a lot of stuff to really impact the market and swing it back to where levels are way below MSRP. So this is going to be really your best chance at getting Crown Zenith well below MSRP. It's been 2 years. They did a staggered release schedule, just like what they're doing with Prismatic Evolutions, where it was spread out over several months, like 7, 8, 9 months. And then they even introduced additional products, which they could still do with Prismatic Evolutions, that were more specific to GameStop and more specific to big box stores, where Crown Zenith, like booster bundles, for example, for Crown Zenith didn't come out until a year after the set released, and they first got released into big box retail stores. They weren't even a thing yet when Crown Zenith originally released. So there still is going to be potential, but definitely check your local area as far as shipping goes for Sam's Club, samsclub.com. If you're not a member, you can pay a little bit extra for shipping. You can get to, if you are a member, I don't know why you would need 20, but you can get 20 up to 20. Here is the Sea and Sky box on TCG Player. Don't pay these prices. This is crazy. You can buy it. Look at, you can buy it for $39.98. Why are we spending $103.28? That's insane. I don't know who's all buying it at this price, but the market has obviously shifted. There's still a lot of hype, a lot of demand behind Crown Zenith, and you can see the amount of sales that really happened back half of December, beginning of January, where it was moving 70, 80 copies of this Sea and Sky promo box on a weekly basis. Now you can see how many packs you get in there, so I could actually count them and know that it's 14, which is a lot of packs. And then you also get the Rayquaza V, the Kyogre V. It was at one point down to $59.35. Current price point $103.28. So it's been up about 72% over the past 3 months. And then it got released a little bit before that, but you don't really find them. I don't think. I don't go to Sam's Club, so I don't really know. I don't think you can really find too many of them in Sam's Clubs anymore. But they're still available in a lot of areas of the country that you can still order, at least a couple of them, if you haven't opened up that much Crown Zenith yet. And a lot of people are talking about how they can't find any Pokemon products in stores, and this is what it's all about. You got to kind of adjust your spending habits, adjust your buying, look around, see what's out there. Here's the Crown Zenith Elite Trainer box. This did go through a big reprint at one point in time about a year ago. You can see in January of 2024, this was down to $41.61, so selling for about $10 below MSRP. The big thing about this one is that the Crown Zenith Elite Trainer box comes with 10 packs instead of 9 packs. So same price point. This was the last set that got released in the Sword and Shield block, so it is the last set that had the old manufacturer suggested retail price and the old MSRP. So $49.99 for this, but you got 10 packs instead of 9 packs, which is what you get for Prismatic Evolutions. Also a specialty set, also $49.99 for MSRP, not $54.99, $49.99 for MSRP. However, because MSRP went up with the release of Scarlet and Violet, you only get 9 packs instead of 10, rather than up the cost to that $54.99. They just took out a booster pack. So a lot of stuff they kind of changed, like Build and Battle Stadiums, things like that. They kind of changed up. Pokemon changed up, so that way they could keep the same price point but not have as much as far as contents go. You can see what's happened really over the past few months since October of 2024. That's when things started taking off, and that's really when the hobby itself exploded with popularity as far as demand goes. A lot of people coming back into the hobby, a lot of people entering the hobby. We are at a point right now, I think, and you can disagree with me. I think we have passed the hype and the height that we were at with COVID. When COVID was around, the pandemic was going on, and there was a lot of people that came into the hobby. I think we have gone past that. It's been absolutely nuts. Crown Zenith has really exploded in price, like every other Pokemon product. You're seeing Pokemon Go. You're even seeing Shrouded Fable really start trickling up in price because there's just nothing available. I got an in-stock list yesterday from distribution, and it was like 15 items, and like 5 items were battle decks. Everything else was limited. It was just, it's not great out there. And a lot of stuff was higher pricing, so closer to market pricing, because there is, unfortunately, just no wholesale product available. And all that means to me is that Pokemon is printing stuff, they're holding stuff, and they're going to dump it all at one point in time. I hope. I think that's what's going to happen. That's what happened in 2021. We'll see if it happens again. But 128% growth over the past year. The majority of that damage happening over the past few months. $94.91. I think Crown Zenith is going to be a fan favorite for a very, very long time because of those pull rates, because of the artwork. Here's the Elite Trainer Box Plus, or you can call it a Pokemon Center exclusive Elite Trainer Box. The Astral Radiance Pokemon Center exclusive just sold out the other day. I think Shrouded Fable is the only one left. So Pokemon also has to worry about restocking those items. We still haven't seen a restock of Prismatic Evolutions Pokemon Center exclusive ETBs. You got to assume it's going to come at some point. There were other sets in the past where they did not release a restock on release day, but they waited a little bit longer. So definitely still potential of a Prismatic restock coming on Pokemon Center's website. You can see in October of 2024, this was down to a one-year low. It was sitting at $113.20, and then it's just exploded over the past month. Ever since it went out of stock, this one did get restocked a couple of times on Pokemon Center's website, and now it's just blown up. It's up to $199.68, up about 67%, with all of that damage happening over the past 3 months and continuing to climb. Here is the loose booster pack, and those Sea and Sky collection boxes really put a lot of loose booster packs back into the open market. Now, this was $3.68 back in October and slowly started trending, but then you can see as more and more people got involved in the hobby, not only did the price go up, but the demand went up as well. So the demand followed suit with the price increase, and now it's up almost 69% over the past couple of months. It was down to $3.68. Now it's sitting at $6.79 and continuing to climb. So those Sea and Sky boxes that you're looking at that have 14 packs inside them, I mean, that brings that price point down for packs to a much, much cheaper level when they're selling loose packs for $6.79. It's a specialty set, so it's a lot different. They don't have loose boosters. They don't have sleeve booster packs or anything like that, like what we've seen with main series sets like Evolving Skies, Obsidian Flames, any main series set from Scarlet and Violet, Surging Sparks. You get sleeve booster packs or check lane boosters. They just have these products like the Elite Trainer Box, like booster bundles that you would have to break down in order to get loose packs. So just continued climbs. Here's the gold cards from Crown Zenith, which have just gone absolutely nuts. There was a brief period in time at the beginning of summer where they started getting bought out. A lot of people were screaming manipulation, including myself, and they did get bought out. Like no shot, like they got bought out for sure. But then as the FOMO died and as the demand died, so did the price, and it came back to the point where it retraced almost to where it was. But then the hype solidified in the hobby when Surging Sparks came out, and a lot of demand came back, and people were looking and forecasting for the future, and they saw Prismatic Evolutions, and they saw Journey Together, and they saw the release of this new Team Rocket set, and they knew that next year a 30th anniversary is coming out. So a lot of people came back into Pokemon, and now you start seeing a lot of people buying up those cards that they didn't get when they were gone, and they're like, hey, this gold Giratina is awesome, I want this. And because of that, the demand has just driven up higher and higher, and the price has followed suit. It's up 173% over the past year, sitting at $211.98 right now, which is just off, or its high point is $211.98, currently at $209.38, which is just off of that 1 year high. Here's the Arceus V-Star, also above $100. It was just the Giratina for the longest time, where that was the only card above $100. Now you've got several. The Arceus V-Star sitting at $130.10, up about 133% over the past year. It was down to $50.43 at this time last year, jumped up at the beginning of summer when those buyouts happened, fell back down on its face at the beginning of October, where it was just above $50, and now it's over doubled in price again, sitting at $130.10, and continuing to climb. The Dialga V-Star getting closer and closer to that $100 mark. It's up about 172% over the past year. At this time last year, it was $31.48. Didn't go through as big of a buyout, but did go through a price hike at the beginning of summer there. It jumped up to about $65, $70 around that price point, and then fell back down to below $50 in September, and then started climbing again and again and again. You see those, you see that brief blip in November on Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, Cyber Monday, where a lot more sales happened, driving that price point up, and it just stuck, and it just continues to climb, sitting at $85.69 right now. That's a 1 year high and continuing to climb. The Palkia even closer to that $100 mark. This was at $34.19, probably the most competitive of the bunch, but not played as much as what it used to. In January of 2024, it was at $34.19. We saw that blip where it almost hit $70, then fell back down, retraced below $50, and then just started piling back on again. It's up 154% over the past year, sitting at $92.62 and continuing to climb. Here's the Mewtwo V-Star. This is another card that's above $100 and continuing to trend upward. This epic battle with Charizard Charizard, a very cool looking card. It was at $43 back in January and roughly flat until April when it did go through that buyout. Retraced in the fall all the way back down to about $50, and then over the last few months it's just gone up like crazy. A lot of these cards just continued in damage. I thought maybe a few months ago when we last talked about Crown Zenith that might be it. Like that might be, you might see a slow trickle now of growth, but it's just continued to climb and climb and climb. And now this card is up 162%, sitting at 115.57, just off of its 1-year high of 116.11. And it's not just happening with those big cards, it's happening with some of the other cards in the back half of the Galarian Gallery as well. Like this Leafeon V-Star, which did get bought out at the beginning of summer. Jumped up to about $43 and then fell back below $25, and now it has surpassed that buyout. So it did jump up quite a bit. Now it's at a new 1-year high, sitting at $43.70, up about 101% on the year. Back in February, it was down to $18.46, so continuing to climb. So even with the easier pull rates, some of these cards still very expensive, and this is why Pokemon could have still given easier pull rates in Prismatic Evolutions. You look at a set like Hidden Fates, those full art shinies, about 1 out of every ETB, about 1 out of every 10 packs, and there's still some in there that are very expensive. I don't know why it is this way. I really just don't. January of 2024, this Suicune was sitting at $13.12. It did get bought out a little bit at the beginning of summer, hit almost $30, then retraced below $20 back in September, and then this one started taking off a little bit more recently. So really December, this one started jumping up quite a bit. It's up almost 177%, sitting at $43.38 right now. That's a 1-year high. Here's the Sleepy Mew. This is from the front half of the Galarian Gallery. This was down to $4.85, a very playable card. And I thought, hey, this one might go back down once rotation happens. However, because of the artwork and the demand and the hype that has re-entered into the hobby, I don't see this one going back down. And now it's sitting at $13.40, which is just off of its 1-year high of $14. You can see how flat it was from January all the way into October. But now the quantity of sales that are happening on a weekly basis has just continued to climb, pushing that price point up higher and higher, up about 129% on the year. Here's the Pikachu from the front half of the Galarian Gallery. This one's up almost 116% on the year. In January of 2024, this was $2.79. Slow growth throughout the year, and then in October really started taking off, sitting at $6.69 right now and continuing to trend upward. And then the Secret Rare Pikachu has actually retraced a little bit. Pull rates on this, about 1 out of every case. So 1 out of every 100 packs, you'll pull a Secret Rare Pikachu. So not super rare. Nowhere near as rare as the gold cards from the Galarian Gallery. This one did get bought out a little bit, jumped up in price at the beginning of summer, hit about $12, $13, and then retraced back down to about $7 before really taking off at the beginning of November, and still hasn't fully recovered from that. It's sitting at $16.91 right now, which is a little bit off of its 1-year high of $21.66, but still up about 141%. And it's not just these cards. There's other ones, Entei V, Raikou V, the Charizard V, the Charizard V-Star. There's a lot of cards that have gained prices and continuing to climb because of the hype that has returned with Pokemon. So main reason behind this is I don't think that Sea and Sky promo box is going to last too much longer. So if you're looking to open some packs for fairly cheap of a fun set and take a break from Prismatic, where you actually will get some decent amount of hits, check out your local Sam's Club online, see if they have any in stock. That's really the best bet. Also, while loose packs are available for a little bit cheaper, it wouldn't surprise me if a year down the road we see these packs, closer to that $10 mark or even less than that, as more and more people, especially with all the rip and ships and things like that going on. It's just crazy out there. But Crown Zenith, obviously a goated set that a lot of people love and wish that Prismatic Evolutions was more like. You can let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch the video. I love you guys. You guys are absolutely amazing. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Like, comment, share the channel. It goes a long way for the algorithm, and we are chasing down 200,000 subscribers so I can finally get my hair cut because it's ridiculous. But you guys are awesome. I love you. I'll see you again tomorrow with another video about Prismatic Evolutions. Until next time, peace.